When the ego isn't king, we have synergy, we have connection, we have love. For thousands of years, human beings have been praying for a solution to the seemingly never-ending pain of human existence. And of course, there are pains that we will probably never be able to overcome, although who knows? Because the ego still is king. So who knows what are possible solutions we haven't discovered yet. Solutions to things like the pain of death or childbirth, the pain of illnesses and old age, the pain of injuries. We certainly have not found ways of overcoming all of those pains. But when the ego isn't king, we have so many fewer pains to deal with because so much of our pain is ego inflicted to start with. Maybe we wouldn't have war and violence, so we wouldn't have PTSD and young people coming back from war with amputated limbs. Maybe we wouldn't have the emotional cruelty that we all know exists in the classroom, in the playground, in the home, behind closed doors. If the ego were not king, we would not have the desperate pain of loneliness, which causes so many of us to go to our addictions, which then cause so much more pain, physical pain, emotional pain, financial pain, not only for us, but for those who depend on us or who love us. Imagine a world where we didn't feel the need to become addicted to food or alcohol or drugs or gambling or sex or shopping or anything else in order to deal with that feeling of aloneness and rejection. Then we might have addiction based on taking pain medications, but maybe we wouldn't have so many pain medications if we didn't have people having accidents because they were high when they were driving, or they wouldn't have injuries from war, or accidents from sports that are not sporting, but are war on the field. No, it's unimaginable. How much less pain we would have if the ego were not king, if it were not keeping us separate, competitive with one another, jealous. When divorces would take place, when the family came together and knew that it would be for the highest good of all, for that particular configuration to transform into something else. And if people didn't fear that by getting divorced or outside of a relationship, that they wouldn't be facing interminable loneliness. So in fact, maybe they wouldn't have ever gotten into that relationship to start with. Or they wouldn't have stayed when it was long past its usefulness to anybody. You might be sitting there thinking, oh yes, the promised land. It's a fantasy. It will come when you're dead. It's heaven. No, it's when the ego is not king, and that is not a fantasy. And you don't have to be dead. In fact, it's preferable if you're not. When we're born, we feel compelled to fight for our own individual existence. And I talk about this in my book, which is free on the internet. It's a free download. The book is called Living with Reality. And the introduction is Ego, Instinct, and Evolution. And I do go into this in great depth. But just in a moment, we can say that when we are born and we need to start fighting for our survival, taking that breath, needing our diapers changed, needing a diaper, needing food, needing to be warm. We're already fighting for our lives. By everything that we do, we cry to let people know that we have a need. And we're focused on ourselves, of course, because we're infants and we are helpless. And we learn very young just what is the best way to fight for our lives in this family, or in this orphanage, or in this kindergarten, or in this neighborhood, or whatever the particular configuration in which we live. We get it. We know, oh, I need to be goody two-shoes, nice little girl, always obeying the rules, or I have to be the son from hell who terrifies everybody, or the daughter who is going to throw temper tantrums and terrify her entire family, or the one who makes the parent feel guilty, or gets grandma to love them, or gets the teacher to pay attention, or who doesn't say a darn thing because she's so afraid that she is going to antagonize the alcoholic parent or even wake them up, when it's better to let a sleeping parent lie. Oh my, we learn, and we learn well. Who should we impress and how? How do we extort what we need in order to survive? And do you really think that you're any different today? I'm not. Oh, yes, we fancy it up with sophistication. As we age, we develop more subtle ways of getting our needs met, less obvious. But it doesn't mean that they're not running our lives. Now, that's the ego, guys. It's as natural as crying when you're hungry, when you're an infant. So sad when those infants cry when they're hungry and there's nothing there. So sad, isn't it? But back to the general point, we are each one of us, a little ego formed in infancy, and we are so darn stuck in me, me, me. When you feel that your survival is at stake, it's hard to override the survival instinct, isn't it? And we need to be trained and taught and supported to be different from that. Oh, some of us think we're very different from that. We are very caring. Well, go back into your history and see if looking caring wasn't the ticket to having your needs met. Hoo-hoo. And you could be a caring person taking care of your spouse or your child, or a nurse, or a caring person who walks down the street and gives money to the homeless, or a therapist. That need to be caring. Is it coming from your soul, like this is really your soul expression, or has it already been contaminated by the fact that you need to be caring in order to be supported? Oh, and then when you start making a living as a caretaker, boy, oh boy, oh boy, now you're getting it from all ends. You're getting the infantile need to look like a caring person in order to get your mother to love you. And then you add to that, this is how you make a living. Oh my God, I make a living caring. And then there's the loneliness factor. People love me. They're so-and-so. She's so caring. Isn't she caring? Such a caring person. I'm going to help her. She's sick today. She needs chicken soup. I think I'll bring her some because she's so caring. I mean, my God, guys. Can you even separate out all the strands that come together and lock us into place? And I'm not even talking about our gender. Oh my God, as a woman, you got to look caring, let me tell you, or you're a selfish bitch. But selfish bitch, you're not an assertive person. You're a selfish bitch, right? Well, as we know, selfish bitches don't usually win, except when everybody is so afraid of them that they're going to line up and listen to them and get bullied by that selfish bitch. So we have gender outside of our own personal socialization. We have our gender socialization. And then we have our racial socialization. Now, I remember very clearly going to Mississippi, and I'm trying to remember exactly when it was. I think it was around in the late 1960s, or it could have been, yeah, it was in the 1960s. And I was in a small town outside of Jacksonville. Jacksonville? Right? Okay.
Oh, Jackson.
Jackson. I thought it was at the. Hey, don't get old. Okay. Jackson, a small town. And I was at a store. And I was walking up to a door. And there were a couple of Black people also walking to the door at the same time. Maybe they were even a step ahead of me. What do you think they did? What do you think they did? They pulled back and let me go first. That spoke volumes. I didn't need to hear about lynchings. I did not need to know the history of the South to see the impact of socialization. The polite, super sweet, humble African American, 2 steps from slavery, always 1 step from lynching. And then, of course, there's the other side. And by the way, that side was praised, wasn't it? Oh, so polite. Oh, so-and-so, they're so polite. And then on the other side, there's the African American who got tired of that, who got tired of eating Jim Crow for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and started to fight back. And I'm not talking about the civil rights movement now. I'm talking about when the more radical arms of the Black movement came out. And then now we have the angry Black people as the next stereotype that Black people have to live up to. Because if you're not tough or angry, you're a wuss, you're a wimp, you're Aunt Tom. So our egoic reactions, believe it or not, are compounded every day. From the moment that we're born, there's something else that makes us more attached to a certain way of being to have our needs met. Maybe it's as simple as, I know that I'm from a poor family and I am going to go to an Ivy League college and I am going to get out of poverty and I am going to get an MBA, or I am going to blah, blah, blah. That's how I'm going to survive. Or I'm going to become a star. And everybody will have to pay attention to me and take care of my needs. How many of us sitting in this room still want to be stars? The one around whom everybody revolves. So that my needs come first. It keeps compounding. Now, sometimes we get opposite messages. Maybe in our family of origin, we got a message that we should be very quiet. But then as we start going through school, we realize that we have to start standing out. And so, oh my God, how do we stand out in a quiet way? Or how do we be quiet in an outstanding way? And then there's gender, isn't there? You got to be a man. You got to be a man. So maybe your mother wanted you to be a soft-spoken, kind, listening boy who always did what his mother wanted and listened to her every rant and rave. And maybe that's what you were supposed to be, and you really got that. Oh, survival. That's it. Yeah, but why is the football player getting all the girls? He's not like that. Then you're getting humiliated by other boys. Because God forbid that you should be a man who is pussy whipped, or worse than that, a pussy. Gay. Oh my God. Which of those voices are you supposed to be listening to? What is a poor ego to do? It's like, oh, I have to be this way. I have to be that way. I have to be the other way. Oh my God. Okay, so I'm going to be the star, but I'm going to be the humble star, right? I'm going to come on and my millions of fans are going to be applauding, and I'm going to just wear jeans because I'm going to show what a regular dude I am. Because in my world, if you stood out, you got beat up. And you don't even know when you put the jeans on that it's your ego protecting your ass. You think it's your self-expression. You say, oh, well, I happen to like jeans. I love bras. They're so comfortable. I love high heels. I love to spend 40 minutes every morning plucking my eyebrows, which feels so great, waxing under my arms and applying makeup so I can look like the Barbie doll that I've been geared to be. Like Caitlyn Jenner, who finally achieved her ambition to be herself as a woman, and she had to have how much plastic surgery and all kinds of makeup and all that stuff to be a natural woman. Well, she was, because that's what natural women look like, don't they? Oh my God, I am so thrilled to see that there are stars or celebrities who are now daring to not wear makeup. But of course, they're gorgeous, right? But hey, it's better than nothing, guys. You know, I always thought, and forgive me, women, I always thought that makeup made you look like a clown. It's so unnatural. I can't believe it. I will not wear makeup. I can't stand it. I did get talked into wearing makeup for a video because they said, oh, under the lights, you'll disappear. To me, I can't even look at myself. There goes the clown. But I am not criticizing you if you wear makeup. There's a reason you're wearing makeup. Somewhere along your socialization, you got the idea that if you wore makeup, you could compete better, either at work or in finding a guy or a girl or whatever. Or you were going to be able to extend your longevity as an actor if you get 10 certain plastic surgeries a year and look like you have a plastic face. This is the ego, guys. Do you think you make, and you think you've made any of these choices? You think you chose what to wear? We are so far from being natural, it's laughable. And we don't even know it. Oh, I have bad eyesight, so I need glasses, right? So then I have to sit there at the store for 20 minutes trying to figure out which frame looks best on my face, makes the right statement. And God forbid your husband should come home with the wrong frame. Oh my God, the world has come to an end because he isn't going to look the way he should look to make your ego feel better. And I'm not even getting into the weight issue. What people are supposed to weigh is not what is good for their health, but what fits into the dress. And then you can't anyway, because you're so addicted to food. No matter what you do, you can't get yourself to fit into the dress. So your ego says, eat, 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 because there's no option in terms of connecting to others and really have a gratifying, satisfying life. So the one part of you is saying, eat, you really need it. You really need to eat, eat, eat. And the other one says, you fat pig, you're disgusting. Because your ego is always monitoring how well you're doing. Ooh, you didn't live up to my expectations and requirements today. You're in trouble. You didn't get that big job with that big paycheck. You didn't get the status. You didn't win the contest. You didn't attract that guy. You've got a tummy. Isn't it hilarious? I just read the other day people complaining about the fact that these designers of fashion and clothes don't design clothes for women who are plus sizes. Now, what was ridiculous about this was it said that the average woman in America today is a size 16. That's the average size. So why is that called plus? In their minds, I don't know if it's officially called plus, but in their mind, they don't want to design clothes because their clothes don't look good on the women. They want their clothes to look like this. The women are just mannequins to wear their ego's clothes. What could be more ego? This is the look. And darling, you have to model your body to fit the look. Isn't this what I'm talking about from beginning to end? It's the look. It's how you look. It's how you seem to yourself and others. Now, if the ego were not king, we wouldn't have this, would we? We would actually be natural people, whatever that means. But I don't mean just like the child who grows up, oh, so natural, because the child is the biggest ego on the block, except for certain political figures. The child is pure, unadulterated ego. Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the natural person that we would be if we could find a different way of raising our children so that they could even begin to understand that there is a different way of being, that you don't have to satisfy some egoic way of being in order to get your needs met. And that the reason that we are caring is not to look caring, but because it feels good. And that we don't have to look smart, but that it's really helpful when there are some smart people around who can help figure certain things out. And gosh, it really helps when some people are able-bodied and somebody is strong and somebody's got good eyesight and somebody can run and somebody's organized and somebody picks up languages easily. And somebody has a natural way with animals, and so on, and so on, and so on. When the ego is not king, we understand. And by the way, I don't mean to be sexist about that. I could have said when the ego is not queen, but usually in the hierarchy, the king was above the queen, if there was a king. So we're talking hierarchy here. If we learned at the earliest age, and we have a program called Unleashing the Power of Kids through fitness, cooperation, service, and thought. And it's all about retraining children before it's too late, because before they get like us, where it's like so set in stone, it feels like we have to go after our egos with a hammer and say, get off me. I am so blocked. I don't even know. I don't even know how. Maybe my body got weak when I was really young in order to satisfy somebody's need for me to be weak, so they could feel strong. How do I know that the cells of my body did not get that message when I was in the womb? I sure as hell know that a lot of people have gotten the message that they have to be strong. If you've ever seen a biography of Teddy Roosevelt, wasn't it Teddy Roosevelt? He was this sickly child, and his father, pushed him to prove his manliness. And so he had to be a rough, tough guy. How do we know that our bodies, that our noses, that our hair, that our souls are not so distorted that it's so hard for us to even find out who the who is, who's inside? So yes, we need to start retraining our children, even though we can't maybe get to the promised land ourselves. And we can intend to get to the promised land. And we can start retraining ourselves, because it is never too darn late. When you see old people doing Tai Chi and doing weightlifting and doing stuff like that. My God, when I was a girl, I'm 71, just to give you an idea, when I was a girl, 45, I mean, you were really getting there. 60, you were old. Now, 60 is like, oh my God, you're so young. Plasticity of the brain, we've been discovering. We can do so much even now. But that ego still has us in its grip because it's screaming at us all the time. You stupid, fat slob, or you skinny weakling, or you unmanly man, or you unfeminine woman, or you whatever, you stupid, 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 stupid bitch. Look what you did now. Oh, so you want to be retrained, right? So that means that you've got to be willing to look at yourself. But how can you look at yourself when your ego is sitting there saying, ooh, you stupid, 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 stupid son of a bitch. So now we have the female and the male. And the trans is in there, and I don't care what else. How can you learn? Your ego is right there, ready to judge and execute you before you've even left the gate. So why is the promised land right here? And it might as well be 1,000,000 miles away. Because our egos are going to get all over us every time we go for help, support, and correction. And my God, in the learning process, if we make a mistake, you stupid, stupid, you may have even had teachers or parents who said this to you. You stupid, 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 stupid child. You see, survival tells me that I can't be stupid. So when I'm going to learn something which is going to help me survive, my ego tells me, you can't do that because that's going to make you look stupid. Oh my God, the ego is the most conflictual essence being on the whole planet. It's always telling you to do opposite things. Grow old gracefully, but just don't grow old. But if you do, do it gracefully. But don't look it. Because what's going to happen to you as you grow old? Not only are you going to get ugly and wrinkled and crippled, nobody's going to want you. You're going to end up in a nursing home. Oh my God, that is our wildest dream. I can't wait to grow old and end up neglected with bed sores in a nursing home. My favorite dream. My aspiration. And I am not saying that there aren't people in nursing homes who are doing their darndest to try to make those supportive and healthy places. And what is the answer? It is we have to do one thing. We've got to confront that ego every step of the way. Every step of the way. When it tells you you're stupid for asking for help, you tell it, no. When it tells you you should be 5'10" and willowy and you're 5 foot and lumpy, you say no. When it tells you you should be making all this money so that you look like the provider for the family, and that's what you should be doing, whether it's like that's what a man is, or that's in these days that's what a real woman does. She can do everything. She can wear stiletto shoes, standing there making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. You say no. When it tells you to be meek and to shut up, you say no. When it tells you that you need to dominate and be angry, you say no. Whenever it tells you to prove anything, you say no, 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 no. But how can you say no to the ego? This is your best friend. This is your salvation. This is your instinct. Well, do you want to be in the promised land or not? Do you want to wait till you're dead? And then through some fantasy, oh, we're all going to be in the promised land. Religion tells us we're going to be in the promised land. You know, some religions tell us that we're going to finally get off the wheel of samsara. We're going to be so elevated, or we are going to be rewarded for our suffering, or don't worry about your miserable life now. You know, you'll get your dues in heaven. Or you'll get a lot of likes on your Facebook page and then you'll be in heaven. Wow, I know how to do it. I should start posting more pictures of kittens. And people will love me. Am I exaggerating? Every time you feel like posting something cute on your Facebook page, ask yourself, why am I doing that? Am I doing that because I want people to think that I am this kind of a person, or that they're going to like to come to my page so I won't feel so lonely? Well, let's solve the problem. Let's stop being lonely. And how do we stop being lonely is by connecting. And the only way we can ever connect is if we are real, honest, loving, and caring towards one another. And if we stop worrying so much about our goddamned egos, people will actually like us, but not for the wrong reasons, not because we're pretending, but because they will feel someone there who actually might think about them, who might actually care about them. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is so radical. And I am not talking about pretending that you're caring or looking like you're caring, because we know how to do that, right? No, I mean, we really care. But how can we do that? How can we possibly do that? We can't. We can't do it alone, guys, because we're too damn scared. Because when we are alone, we have no choice but to worry about our survival. I can just see it. I'm going to be alone on a desert island, and I'm going to start caring about all the plants and the fish in the sea, and I'm going to starve. I better start building a shelter and figuring out how to get those coconuts down without clobbering me on the head. So if I'm alone, guys, I'm in 24/7 survival mode, trying to figure it all out. But you add one other person. One person is shaking the tree. The other person is catching the fruit. One person stays awake when the other one can sleep. Yeah. One person knows how to build a fire, and so on. We're already in a better world, and all we did was add one and one, unless the other person is an egomaniacal serial killer, in which case we're out of our misery. You don't have to worry about it anymore. But you have two caring people. So let's say you actually have two people you can start caring. You can say, oh, honey, you're going to go out there and you're going to be shaking trees today. I wonder what the weather is like. Do you think that, do you need some warmer clothes? Or can I help you make some shoes? Or I have this, you can wear it. I mean, oh my God, that person feels like $1 million and runs around shaking trees like crazy. Now, of course, this is the silliest example on the planet, but that's why it is so universal, because that is reality. That is the way it is. You start to really care about someone else. They feel loved, and they start caring about you. They want you to exist. because they feel you care. But that's only if we're all willing to overcome ego. Because if you're really caring towards somebody who is driven by ego, they'll say, yeah, baby, bring it on. I want all the coconuts. You can have a little. You know, you're stuck. If the guy next to you is running on some ego number, there is no paradise, guys. And then you said, well, I had to grab the coconuts for myself because if I didn't, Irving would have taken them. And then you have to build a whole society based on not letting, oh, you have children. And so then it's like the anti-Irving contingent. The child grows up knowing that there is a demon in the planet and it's called Irving. And now we have to train children to fear Irving. And Irving feels unloved and alone. And Irving has even more reason to grab everything for himself, right? Isn't this men and women? Isn't this men and women? The man comes home with a piece of meat. I should get it for myself. Not, does the woman need this more right now because she happens to be pregnant, or she's actually doing all the work in the house, or because I don't happen to need it. I'm not hunting today, or whatever. Really caring. Oh, I mean, I'm talking so basic. Believe me, the same thing is true in a corporation. You go into that corporation, you immediately suss out who you should be aligning with and why. If you're the kiss-ass type who wants to get to the top, you are going to align yourself with the top and ignore the suffering of the people who are on your level and below you. How many people can you step on the way up that ladder? But if you're have a different kind of training and different kind of ego, you're going to say, I'm with the union. Let's get those lousy SOBs. That's how it is, guys. And you think you're thinking. And you think you have it figured out. And you think you know what you're doing, and you think this is the way it is. It's not. It's the way we make it, the way we co-create it. I am going to choose the promised land. And the ego isn't going to like it. And maybe the ego is going to try to hurt me every which way. And the same happens to you. The minute you try to break that program, your ego is going to scream at you. And it may not just be your ego. It may be the secret police. It may be the gang next door. It may be Irving who doesn't share, right? And then your ego says, see, I told you there's no point in doing this. You can't change City Hall. You're just endangering yourself. So what do? You have to find somebody else. Or maybe you sit down and you ask Irving if he's really happy, if he really wants to be the way he is. Maybe you can actually support Irving. Maybe Irving can support you. And you build a new world just like that by saying, I am going to care no matter what. No matter what my ego says, no matter what survival tells me, no matter what society tells me, I am going to care. I am not going to listen to the infantile ego that's been screaming, me, 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 all my life. And I'm going to support others to do it. And I'm going to reach out to support others. And I'm going to try to raise children differently. Not to look nice, but to be real, authentic, and caring. And that's different. Trust me. There's no relationship between making nice and being caring. Making nice is the ego, trying to look a certain way to get a certain response. And caring is the spontaneous eruption of connection and love from your heart, and it's in there. And if you care, you stop worrying so darn much. You're saying you don't have to argue so much with your ego. It just starts growing. It starts growing. It's like you're watering that baby plant that is trying so hard to break through the soil. Just keep watering it. Feed it. And look for allies in the greatest struggle that humanity has to face, which is confronting the domination of the ego. There are many people who have known this, but not enough to turn the tide. Maybe you are the one that will turn that tide. Thank you.